Maya hummed along to the radio, a wrench clutched tightly in her small hand. Even though she was only 8 years old, Maya knew more about cars than most grown-ups in her neighborhood. She lived on Willow Creek Lane, a street filled with small, colorful houses and big, leafy trees. It wasn't the fanciest place, but it was home. Maya wasn't like the other girls in her class who dreamed of being ballerinas or pop stars. Maya dreamed of engines. Spark plugs, carburetors, and crankshafts were her favorite words. While other kids played with dolls, Maya played with toy cars, taking them apart and putting them back together, learning how each piece worked. Her grandpa, a retired mechanic, had taught her everything she knew. He'd let her help him in his garage, handing him tools and explaining how the engine worked. The smell of oil and gasoline was her favorite perfume. Her grandpa always said she had a natural gift, a knack for understanding machines. Today, Maya was working on her prized possession, a rusty, old go-kart she'd found abandoned in a junkyard. She'd spent weeks cleaning it up, replacing parts, and painting it a bright shade of blue. It wasn't much to look at, but to Maya it was a race car waiting to happen. She tightened a bolt, a small smile playing on her lips. She imagined herself zooming around a racetrack, the wind whipping through her hair. She glanced up at the sound of a sputtering engine, her mechanical senses immediately on alert. A shiny, red Mustang, a classic beauty, was struggling to make it up the street, coughing and wheezing like an old man with a cold. Maya knew that sound, she knew it well. The Mustang finally sputtered to a halt right in front of Maya's house. Steam hissed from under the hood like an angry dragon. A tall, older man with silver hair and a stern face climbed out, looking utterly defeated. This was Mr. Harrison. He wore a fancy suit that seemed out of place on Willow Creek Lane. He usually lived far away in a big house with a long driveway, but he loved to drive his Mustang on weekends. Mr. Harrison was known for being grumpy. He rarely smiled and he always seemed to be in a hurry. People said he was a millionaire, but he didn't act like it. He never showed off or bragged about his money. He just drove his beautiful car and frowned a lot. He slammed the hood shut, muttering under his breath, "Blast it all. Not again." He kicked the tire, a gesture that did little to improve the situation. He pulled out his phone, but cell service was spotty on Willow Creek Lane. He sighed, running a hand through his thinning hair. He looked around, his eyes landing on Maya, who was still kneeling beside her go-kart, watching him with curious eyes. He scowled. He didn't like being watched, especially not by a child. But he was stuck. He was miles from home, his car was broken, and his phone wouldn't work. He was completely and utterly stranded. He grumbled, "Just my luck." The sun beat down on him, making him even more irritable. He needed to get this car fixed and fast. He had an important meeting to get to, and now he was going to be late. He just hoped someone around here could help, even if it was just a kid playing with a go-kart. Gathering her courage, Maya slowly approached Mr. Harrison. He looked like he might bite if she got too close, but she couldn't just stand by and watch him struggle. The Mustang was too beautiful to be left broken down. "Excuse me, sir," Maya said, her voice a little shaky. Mr. Harrison jumped, startled. He hadn't expected the little girl to speak to him. He looked down at her, his expression still grumpy. "What is it?" he snapped. Maya didn't flinch. She'd faced tougher customers than Mr. Harrison. "I think I can help you with your car," she said, pointing to the Mustang. Mr. Harrison raised an eyebrow. "You? Help me? What do you know about cars?" "I know a lot," Maya replied confidently. "My grandpa is a mechanic and I've been helping him in his garage since I was little. I know all about engines and wires and stuff." She gestured to her go-kart. "I built that myself, almost." Mr. Harrison looked skeptical. He glanced from Maya to the go-kart and back again. He couldn't believe a little girl could fix his Mustang, but he was desperate. He didn't have any other options. He had to at least consider it. "What makes you think you can fix it?" he asked, crossing his arms. "I heard it sputtering," Maya explained. "It sounds like a loose wire or maybe a problem with the fuel injection. I can take a look if you want." She held up her wrench. "I have my tools right here." Mr. Harrison hesitated. It seemed ridiculous to let a child work on his prized Mustang, but the alternative was waiting for hours for a tow truck. He sighed. "All right," he said finally. "Fine, but don't touch anything you don't know about. And if you break it worse, you're in big trouble." Maya's face lit up with a smile. "I won't break it," she promised. "I'll fix it. You'll see." She carefully approached the Mustang, her eyes scanning the engine, already planning her next move. Mr. Harrison watched Maya with a critical eye as she circled the Mustang. her small hands running along its sleek, red surface. He couldn't shake the feeling that this was a mistake. She was just a child, after all. What could she possibly know about a complex machine like his Mustang? He'd always taken pride in his car. It was a symbol of his success, a reminder of how far he'd come. He'd bought it brand new back in the day, and he'd always taken meticulous care of it. He couldn't believe he was about to let a little girl tinker with it. He almost told her to stop, to just go back to playing with her go-kart. But the thought of waiting hours for a tow truck, of missing his important meeting, kept him from saying the words. He was trapped between his skepticism and his desperation. He also couldn't help but notice Maya's appearance. Her clothes were simple, her hair was braided neatly, and her hands were covered in grease from working on her go-kart. She didn't look like someone who would know anything about expensive cars. He'd assumed she'd be playing with dolls or something, like he remembered his granddaughter doing when she was younger. He cleared his throat. "Are you sure you know what you're doing?" he asked again, his voice laced with doubt. "This isn't some toy, you know. This is a classic car." Maya didn't look up from the engine. "I know," she said, her voice focused. "And I know what I'm doing. Just trust me." Mr. Harrison sighed. Trust her? That was a lot to ask of a grumpy millionaire who was already having a bad day. But he had no other choice. He leaned against the car, watching Maya work, his skepticism slowly giving way to a sliver of hope. Maybe, just maybe, this little girl could actually fix his Mustang. After all, he had nothing to lose at this point. He just hoped she wouldn't make things worse. Maya worked quickly and efficiently, her small hands moving with surprising confidence. She popped the hood and peered inside, her eyes scanning the engine with a focused intensity that belied her age. She gently touched various parts, listening carefully, her brow furrowed in concentration. Mr. Harrison watched, still skeptical but also increasingly intrigued. After a few moments, Maya pointed to a wire that had come loose from its connector. "That's the problem," she announced, her voice filled with certainty. "It's a simple fix." Mr. Harrison squinted. He couldn't even see the wire she was pointing at. "Are you sure?" he asked, his doubt creeping back in. "Positive," Maya replied. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small pair of pliers, a tool she always carried with her. With practiced ease, she reconnected the wire to its connector, making sure it was firmly in place. "There," she said, wiping her hands on her pants. "All done." Mr. Harrison stared at the wire, then back at Maya. He couldn't believe it was that simple. He'd expected a complicated repair, something that would take hours and cost a fortune. But Maya had fixed it in a matter of minutes with nothing more than a pair of pliers. "Well, I'll be," he muttered, shaking his head in disbelief. He turned the key in the ignition. The engine roared to life, purring smoothly like a contented cat. Mr. Harrison's eyes widened in astonishment. He couldn't believe it. She'd actually done it. He revved the engine a few times, listening carefully. The Mustang sounded better than it had in weeks. Maya had not only fixed the problem, but she'd also made the engine run smoother. He was truly impressed. He turned off the engine and climbed out of the car, his expression a mixture of amazement and gratitude. He looked at Maya, a newfound respect in his eyes. I don't know what to say," he stammered. "You actually fixed it. You're incredible." He couldn't believe a little girl had just saved his day. His important meeting was still within reach. And his beloved Mustang was running again, all thanks to Maya. The gruffness that had defined Mr. Harrison's demeanor began to melt away, replaced by genuine gratitude. He actually smiled, a rare sight on Willow Creek Lane. It transformed his face, making him look younger and much kinder. "Thank you, Maya," he said sincerely. "You have no idea how much you've helped me. I was in a real bind." He reached into his wallet and pulled out a large bill. "Here, take this. You deserve it." Maya hesitated. She hadn't fixed the Mustang for money. She'd done it because she loved cars and wanted to help. But she also knew her family could use the money. I don't know, sir," she mumbled, looking down at her feet. "Please," Mr. Harrison insisted, gently placing the bill in her hand. "Consider it a thank you for your kindness and your expertise. You're a very talented young lady." He looked at her with newfound warmth. He had misjudged her. He'd seen only a little girl, but he'd failed to see her intelligence, her skill, and her generous spirit. He felt a pang of guilt for his earlier skepticism. He'd almost dismissed her because of her age and where she lived. He realized he'd been too quick to judge. Maya had taught him a valuable lesson about looking beyond appearances. "Is there anything else I can do for you?" Mr. Harrison asked, his voice softer than before. "Anything at all?" He felt compelled to do more than just give her money. He wanted to repay her kindness in a meaningful way. He noticed her go-kart still sitting in the driveway. It was clear she poured her heart and soul into it, but it was old and worn. He had an idea. "Tell me, Maya," he said, leaning closer. "What are your dreams? What do you want to be when you grow up?" He was genuinely curious to hear her answer. He suspected it had something to do with cars. He sensed a passion in her that reminded him of himself when he was younger, chasing his own dreams. He knew that with the right support, Maya could achieve anything she set her mind to. He was determined to help her. Maya's eyes sparkled as she answered Mr. Harrison's question. "I want to be a mechanic," she said, her voice filled with passion. "A really, really good one. I want to fix cars and build engines and maybe even design my own cars someday." Mr. Harrison smiled. He wasn't surprised. He'd seen the way she handled the Mustang, the way she understood its inner workings. She had a natural talent, a gift that shouldn't be wasted. "That's a wonderful dream, Maya," he said encouragingly. "And I believe you can achieve it." Maya's smile faltered. "But it's hard," she admitted, her voice dropping to a whisper. "My family doesn't have a lot of money. We can barely afford the things we need, let alone special tools or training. My grandpa tries to teach me what he can, but his tools are old and he doesn't have all the latest equipment." She looked down at her go-kart, her voice tinged with sadness. "I dream of going to a real mechanic school, learning from the best, and having all the right tools. But it's just a dream." Mr. Harrison's heart ached for her. He knew what it was like to have big dreams and limited resources. He'd come from humble beginnings himself, and he'd had to work hard to achieve his success. He admired Maya's ambition and her determination to overcome her circumstances. He thought about his own life, about the opportunities he'd been given. He realized he had a responsibility to help others, to give back to the community. And he couldn't think of a better way to do that than to support Maya's dream. "Maya," he said, his voice firm but gentle. "I want to help you. I want to help you make your dream come true." He saw the surprise in her eyes, the flicker of hope that ignited within her. He knew he was about to change her life forever. He didn't know how yet, but he was certain he would find a way to support her journey to becoming a mechanic. He was determined to make her dream a reality. "What do you mean, sir?" Maya asked, her eyes wide with a mixture of hope and disbelief. Mr. Harrison smiled warmly. "I mean, I want to mentor you, Maya. I want to help you learn everything you need to know to become a successful mechanic." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "I can provide you with the resources you need, the tools, the training, everything." He continued, "I know a few people in the car industry. I could introduce you to some experienced mechanics, people who could teach you even more than your grandpa. And I could help you get into a good mechanic school when you're old enough." Maya was speechless. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. It was like a dream come true. All she had ever wanted was a chance to pursue her passion, and now this kind man was offering to make it happen. "Really? You'd do that for me?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Absolutely," Mr. Harrison replied, his eyes twinkling. "You have a special talent, Maya. It would be a shame to let it go to waste. Besides," he added with a chuckle, "I could use a good mechanic around. My Mustang isn't getting any younger." He extended his hand. "So, what do you say, Maya? Do you want to be my mentee?" Tears welled up in Maya's eyes. She quickly wiped them away, not wanting to appear ungrateful. She grabbed Mr. Harrison's hand and shook it firmly. "Yes, sir," she exclaimed, her voice filled with excitement. "I would love that. Thank you, Mr. Harrison. Thank you so much." Mr. Harrison squeezed her hand gently. "You're very welcome, Maya. I have a feeling this is the beginning of a very special friendship." He was right. He sensed that their lives were about to become intertwined in ways they couldn't yet imagine. He had found a purpose, something to fill the void in his life, and Maya had found a champion, someone who believed in her and was willing to help her achieve her dreams. The future looked bright for both of them. As Maya shook Mr. Harrison's hand, a glint of gold caught his eye. He noticed a ring on her right-hand finger, a ring that seemed oddly familiar. It wasn't a flashy or expensive-looking ring, but it had a unique design, a delicate gold band with a small, intricately carved hummingbird perched on top. Mr. Harrison's heart skipped a beat. He stared at the ring, his mind racing. He'd seen that ring before, many years ago. It was a family heirloom, a ring that held a special place in his heart. He hadn't seen it in decades, but he recognized it instantly. He gently took Maya's hand again, his eyes fixed on the ring. "That's a beautiful ring, Maya," he said, his voice trembling slightly. "Where did you get it?" Maya blushed, self-conscious about the ring. It was a bit too big for her finger, and she usually tried to hide it. "It was my great-grandmother's," she explained. "It's been passed down through our family for generations. It's supposed to bring good luck." Mr. Harrison's mind was reeling. A wave of memories washed over him, memories of his late wife, Eleanor. He remembered her telling him about a special ring she had given to her beloved nanny, a woman who had cared for her since she was a child. Eleanor had always cherished the nanny and considered her part of the family. He remembered Eleanor describing the ring, the gold band, the delicate hummingbird. It was the same ring Maya was wearing. He felt a lump in his throat. Could it be possible? Could Maya be related to Eleanor's nanny? He had to know. He had to ask. Maya, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. What was your great-grandmother's name? He held his breath, waiting for her answer, his heart pounding in his chest. He felt like he was on the verge of discovering something truly extraordinary, something that would connect him to Maya in a way he never could have imagined. The ring was a key, unlocking a door to the past, a past filled with love, loss, and a connection that transcended generations. Maya looked at Mr. Harrison, confused by his intense gaze. Her name was Clara, she said, her voice soft. Clara Mae Johnson. A tear escaped Mr. Harrison's eye and traced a path down his wrinkled cheek. Clara, he whispered, the name filled with emotion. Clara was Eleanor's nanny. She was like a mother to her. He paused, gathering his thoughts. Eleanor was my wife. She passed away a few years ago. He looked at Maya, his eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and wonder. Eleanor gave Clara that ring. It was a token of her appreciation for everything Clara had done for her. She loved Clara dearly. The revelation hung in the air, thick with unspoken emotions. Maya's eyes widened in understanding. She suddenly realized the significance of the ring, its connection to Mr. Harrison's past. So, you knew my great-grandmother? She asked, her voice filled with awe. Mr. Harrison nodded, tears streaming down his face now. Yes, Maya. I knew Clara. She was a wonderful woman. She was kind, compassionate, and she had a heart of gold. He smiled through his tears. And now I see that her granddaughter is just as special. He gently cupped Maya's face in his hands. This is incredible, Maya. It's more than just coincidence. It's fate. It was meant to be. Eleanor always said that Clara was an angel in disguise. And now her angel's granddaughter has come into my life just when I needed her most. He felt a profound connection to Maya, a connection that transcended time and circumstance. He knew that Eleanor would have wanted him to help Maya, to support her dreams. It was as if Eleanor had sent Maya into his life, not only to fix his Mustang but also to heal his heart. He knew that from this day forward, his life would never be the same. He had found a new family, a new purpose, all thanks to a broken-down Mustang and a little girl with a big heart and a very special ring. Mr. Harrison felt a warmth spread through his chest, a feeling he hadn't experienced since Eleanor's passing. It wasn't just gratitude or admiration. It was something deeper, something spiritual. He truly believed that fate had brought Maya into his life. He thought about all the things that had to happen for them to meet. His Mustang breaking down on Willow Creek Lane, Maya being outside working on her go-kart, her willingness to help a grumpy old stranger. It was too much to be a coincidence. He realized that this wasn't just about fixing a car or helping a talented young girl achieve her dreams. It was about something much bigger. It was about connection, about family, about healing the wounds of the past. He looked at Maya, her eyes shining with excitement and a touch of disbelief. He saw a reflection of Clara in her, a spark of kindness and compassion that reminded him of the woman who had cared for Eleanor so many years ago. He knew that he couldn't just be a mentor to Maya. He had to be more. He had to be a friend, a confidant, a surrogate grandfather. He had to be there for her, to support her, to guide her, just as Clara had been there for Eleanor. He felt a sense of purpose he hadn't felt in years. He had spent so much time focusing on his business, on accumulating wealth, that he had forgotten what truly mattered: human connection. Maya had reminded him of the importance of kindness, of generosity, of giving back to the community. He squeezed her hand gently. Maya, he said, his voice filled with emotion. I believe that we were brought together for a reason. I don't know exactly what that reason is yet, but I promise you, I will do everything I can to help you achieve your dreams. And I will cherish our friendship for as long as I live. He smiled, a genuine, heartfelt smile that reached his eyes. He knew that his life was about to change in profound and wonderful ways. He had found a new family, a new purpose, and a new reason to smile, all thanks to a little girl and a very special ring. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. He and Maya were connected by something stronger than chance, something that would bind them together for years to come. True to his word, Mr. Harrison became a constant presence in Maya's life. He visited her and her family regularly, sharing stories about Eleanor and Clara, bringing laughter and warmth into their humble home. He quickly became an honorary member of the family, a surrogate grandfather to Maya and a friend to her parents and grandpa. He started by upgrading Maya's grandpa's garage, equipping it with modern tools and equipment. He enrolled Maya in after-school programs focused on mechanics and engineering, nurturing her passion and expanding her knowledge. He spent hours with her in the garage, teaching her advanced techniques and sharing his own experiences with cars. He also made sure Maya had opportunities to meet other mechanics and engineers, introducing her to professionals in the field and opening doors for her that would have otherwise remained closed. He took her to car shows and races, fueling her passion and inspiring her to dream even bigger. But more than anything, Mr. Harrison provided Maya with unwavering support and encouragement. He believed in her even when she doubted herself. He reminded her of her talent, her intelligence, and her potential. He helped her to see that anything was possible if she worked hard and never gave up on her dreams. He also became a source of comfort and companionship for Maya's family. He helped them with their finances, ensuring they had everything they needed. He attended school events and family gatherings, becoming a part of their everyday lives. Maya's family, in turn, welcomed Mr. Harrison with open arms. They appreciated his kindness, his generosity, and his genuine affection for Maya. They saw how much he cared for her, and they were grateful for the positive influence he had on her life. Mr. Harrison's presence transformed Maya's life and the lives of her family. He brought hope, opportunity, and a sense of belonging. He showed them that even in the most unexpected circumstances, fate can bring people together and create bonds that last a lifetime. He had found a new family, a new purpose, and a new reason to smile. And Maya, the little girl who had fixed his Mustang, had found a champion, a mentor, and a friend who would forever change the course of her life. The ring, a symbol of their shared history, served as a constant reminder of their unlikely but unbreakable bond. Years passed, filled with hard work, dedication, and unwavering support from Mr. Harrison. Maya excelled in her studies, mastering every aspect of automotive mechanics and engineering. She graduated at the top of her class, earning accolades and recognition for her exceptional skills and talent. She could have easily taken a high-paying job at a prestigious dealership or a racing team, but Maya had other plans. She remembered where she came from, the struggles her family had faced, and the kindness Mr. Harrison had shown her. She wanted to give back to her community, to help others who were facing similar challenges. With Mr. Harrison's help, she opened her own garage in Willow Creek Lane, a place where she could provide affordable and reliable car repairs to the people in her neighborhood. She hired other young people from the community, giving them opportunities to learn a trade and earn a living. Maya's garage quickly became a success. People trusted her because she was honest, skilled, and compassionate. She never overcharged her customers, and she always went the extra mile to help them get back on the road. She became a role model for other young people in the community, showing them that anything was possible if they followed their dreams and worked hard. She also continued to mentor other young girls who were interested in mechanics, inspiring them to pursue their passions and break down barriers in a traditionally male-dominated field. She proved that women could be just as successful as men in the automotive industry, and she paved the way for future generations of female mechanics and engineers. Mr. Harrison watched Maya's success with immense pride and joy. He had helped her to achieve her dreams, and she, in turn, had transformed her community. He knew that Eleanor and Clara would have been incredibly proud of her. The ring, which she still wore every day, served as a constant reminder of their shared history and the unlikely bond that had brought them together. Maya had not only become a successful mechanic, but she had also become a force for good in the world, using her skills to help others and make a difference in her community. Her story was a testament to the power of kindness, compassion, and the unwavering belief in the potential of others. The sun streamed through the open garage door, casting long shadows across the concrete floor. Maya, her hair now streaked with gray, worked alongside Mr. Harrison, his hands gnarled with age but still steady. They were both hunched over the engine of the classic red Mustang, the same car that had brought them together so many years ago. Mr. Harrison chuckled, a warm, raspy sound. "You know, Maya," he said, "I still can't believe that little girl with the go-kart fixed my Mustang that day." I thought I was doomed. Maya smiled, her eyes crinkling at the corners. And I can't believe that grumpy old man let me touch his precious car, she teased. They both laughed, a comfortable, familiar sound that filled the garage. The years had softened their edges, but their bond remained as strong as ever. They had been through so much together, supporting each other through thick and thin. It's amazing how one act of kindness can change everything, Maya said, tightening a bolt on the engine. If you hadn't given me a chance, I don't know where I'd be today. Mr. Harrison reached out and squeezed her hand, his eyes filled with affection. And if you hadn't offered to help me, I might have missed that important meeting and never discovered our connection. It was fate, Maya. It was meant to be. He looked at the ring on her finger, the gold band with the delicate hummingbird. It was a symbol of their shared history, a reminder of the unlikely bond that had brought them together. You know, he said, his voice growing soft, Eleanor would have been so proud of you, Maya. She always believed in the power of kindness and compassion. She would have loved you. Maya nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. I wish I could have met her, she said. But I feel like I know her through you and the stories you've told me. They worked in silence for a few moments. The only sound, the clinking of tools and the gentle hum of the engine. They were content, grateful for the unlikely friendship that had enriched their lives and the power of kindness that had transformed their world. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the garage, Maya and Mr. Harrison stood back to admire their handiwork. The Mustang looked as good as new, a testament to their shared passion and their enduring friendship. They had come a long way since that fateful day on Willow Creek Lane, but their bond remained as strong as ever, a testament to the power of kindness, compassion, and the unwavering belief in the potential of others.